Let's say that we have 3 divided by the square root of 5. Okay? Just like with fractions, we can't have a fraction in the denominator. Like I can't do 3 divided by 1/2. That's not proper form. I can't do 3 divided by 0.5. That's not proper form. We don't have a decimal in the denominator of a fraction. We don't leave a fraction in the denominator of a fraction, right? Same thing, we do not leave a radical in the denominator of a fraction. So we have to simplify it so we don't have a radical there, okay? And in order to do that, what we're actually going to do is multiply by the square root of 5 over the square root of 5. Okay? Now, when we multiply, we can't just randomly multiply a number by something. Okay? I can't just all of a sudden say, okay, I'm going to multiply by 2. You can't do that. But I can do this. Can anyone tell me why this is okay? Because aren't I multiplying it by a number? Like when I'm trying to simplify 3 over the square root of 5, I can't just randomly multiply it by 2. But I can multiply it by the square root of 5 over the square root of 5. Why is that? What does the square root of 5 over the square root of 5 equal? Jackson. Close. 1. It equals 1. Right? This equals 1. So why is it okay to multiply by 1? It's equal same thing. Exactly. I didn't change its value. If I multiplied by 2, I'd be changing its value. I'm only multiplying by 1. So it's not changing its value. I think of it, it's getting a facelift. It's the same number, it just looks different. Okay? It's getting a new do. All right? So it looks the same. Okay, so when we multiply fractions, what do? We go straight across. When we multiply fractions, we go straight across the top, straight across the bottom. What is 3 times the square root of 5? Dominic, what's 3 times the square root of 5?
7. You said square root.
Mm-hmm. Tell me what you're doing, what you're thinking.
So it'd be 3 times 25.
No.
I'm confused. Like, what are you asking?
I'm asking you if when I multiply this fraction and I go straight across, what's going to be on top? I've got 7, I've got 25, I've got 15. What do we think? Okay. Chelsea, can you help us? It's 3 radical 5. That's all. It's just 3 radical 5. Okay, how about on the bottom? I'm doing the square root of 5 times the square root of 5. Mark, what's that going to give us? It's right here. 5, thank you. Okay, let's wake up, guys. Wake up. Okay, that's it. We're done. That is simplified. Boom. Unfortunately, they do get harder, but that's the basic concept. So let's look at another one. Let's look at 2 over the square root of 7. Drew, what are we going to do?
Times it by 7.
Don't listen to other people. Trust yourself. Trust yourself.
The square root of 7.
Square root of 7, yes. Going to multiply by the square root of 7 over the top and the bottom. Right? Use your own brain. Don't use other people's brains. Some people's brains are not as good as your brain. Trust yourself. Okay? All right, Gianna. When we multiply this fraction, you're going to go straight across the top. What is 2 times the square root of 7? 2 root 7. There you go. Okay, Riley, what's the square root of 7 times the square root of 7? 7. There you go. Boom. We're finished. Okay? Any questions so far?
Why don't you put the 7 and the 5? Why don't you put the square root?
On the bottom? So what we actually did, right, we had the square root of 5 times 5, right, when we multiply these two together. But this is a pair, so the pair comes out of the radical, and there's no more radical left. Okay? So here's my shortcut to this process. Okay? Instead of actually doing this multiplying, I call my shortcut, this is called move and remove. Right? Move and remove. So this is how I apply this. We've got 2 over root 7. I'm going to move the radical to the top. So this becomes 2 root 7. I moved it to the top. And on the bottom, I'm going to remove the radical, leaving me with just 7. That's my shortcut for it. Okay? So if we had 8 over the square root of 10, we're going to move and remove. So I'm going to move the radical up, and I'm going to remove the radical from the bottom, leaving me with just the 10. Move and remove. Okay, that's my shortcut, so you don't have to do all the multiplying and all. Okay? Everybody okay with that? Okay. Now look at this one. This will reduce. 8 over 10 reduces. What's 8 over 10 reduced to? 4 over 5. And we still have our radical 10. Okay, now this is very important because this is one of the biggest mistakes that we make. Okay, when we reduce, you can only reduce outside numbers with outside numbers, or inside numbers with inside numbers. So what I mean by that is that if you look at this, this 10 is inside the radical. This 10 is outside the radical. I can't reduce those. Excuse me. I can't reduce them, okay? The 8 and the 10 and this 10 down here are both outside the radical, so they can reduce, okay? So for instance, let's say that I had 2 root 3 over root 6. This time, the 3 and the 6 will reduce because they are both inside a radical. So this is going to reduce to 2 root 1 over root 2. Right? The 3 and the 6 reduce. They're both inside. So now I have, what's the square root of 1? 1. Okay. So now I have to do my move and remove. Move. There's the move. And then remove. Okay. What can we do now? The 2's that are outside can reduce, leaving me with just the square root of 2. Okay. Could I have gotten this doing it differently? Yes. Let's look at it. 2 root 3 over root 6. Okay. I'm going to move and remove. I'm not going to simplify first. So we're going to move the square root of 6 up, and we're going to remove the radical from the bottom. Move and remove. Okay. What is the square root of 3 times 6? Okay, let's write it like that. Okay, everybody following? So we've got 2. I'm going to rewrite this as 3 times 6 is 3 times 2. Okay, so now we can bring these 3's out, right? And we get 2 times 3, root 2 over 6, which gives me 6 root 2 over 6. And what happens? The 6's will cancel, leaving me with the square root of 2. That's the same answer I got doing it this way, where I simplified first. Okay. Are your brains hurting? You all look tired. Okay, let's stop it there. No homework tonight. Okay. You've been waiting for the homework?
No, I put it back.
The bell's going to ring shortly.
It's in reverse.
Did you make a pass?
That's not